Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to Fantasy Endgame. I'm Pierre, and that's it. Chris is sidetracked for the moment, but hopefully he'll join us in a little bit. If not, then it's all right. Stick with me for the next hour and a half while we wait for Monday Night Football to get underway. And for the first time in a while, we have a Monday Night Football game that is not only worth waiting for and worth watching, but should be the best game of the week, pretty much. We got a Super Bowl rematch. So a lot of fantasy players at stake this week on Monday night. If you got last minute start sit questions, if you just want to let us know exactly what you need tonight, well, post it up there. I'm going to put as many comments as possible. We'll get to your chats, your super chats, and everything else that you need. So I'm going to do that in a second. First, a reminder for anyone that is new to the Fantasy Endgame, or if you haven't checked it out yet, Underdog. That's right, we're partnered with Underdog. So first of all, tonight you can take advantage of the new customer special. If you sign up right now, you get Pat Mahomes just getting 1 yard. That's right, Pat Mahomes, 1 yard. It's that simple. He gets a yard, you go higher, you win that pick. So you can do that right now. If you sign up, make sure you use promo code ENDGAME, of course, and you get that 100% deposit match as well, and it's up to $100. So we got Mahomes. I think he'll have a pretty decent game. I know some people worried about the defenses in this game. I still tend to think in a matchup like this, the offenses will reign supreme. I know Kansas City's defense has been pretty good this year. You still start Jalen Hurts, and it doesn't matter who the defense is. You start Pat Mahomes. But again, if we're talking pick'ems, yeah, Pat Mahomes, I'm usually going to go higher anyways. 1 yard, yeah, I'll definitely take it. So check that out if you haven't already. There's also a link in the description. You can do that. It takes you straight there. So now we got that out of the way. We can get to your comments and your questions. And I'm going to start with Mary Jo. All right. So needs 32 from Swift. Well, it's not impossible. Let's just say that. Would have won. He played DJ Moorfields. Well, Goff didn't have a good game, and I'm not even sure why, because he was at home. It's not a bad matchup for him. He went up okay for fantasy purposes, but definitely not his best game. Throwing interceptions left and right. I don't know what happened there. Fields looked pretty good, I got to say. Now, with Fields, we knew he could do something, but the problem is we just didn't know there was risk. There was major risk. It wasn't a good matchup. Kirk, I mean, you can never feel bad starting Kirk. So glad you just ready to move on to next week. That's the right attitude to have, Mary Jo's. Like, I mean, yeah, if we had known, then of course we would make all the perfect decisions ahead of time. But on to next week. All right, Reginald. A must win. All right, we're ready for week 12. Our must win week. We need 2.5 PPR: Pittman, Evans, and Tank. Well, you have all good options. I'll just say already been looking ahead to the week 12 matchups. I mean, it's really hard to never. It's hard to not start Evans like for any reason ever. I like Evans this week. I think he's in for a pretty big week, so I'm going to say yes to Evans. Pittman is on the other side. He gets that matchup. It's really good for him. It's really good to go against Indy, and it's also really good for receivers to go against Tampa. But how do you sit Tank the way he's been playing? That's the thing. I don't know if I can even consider who else is an option at this point. I think I'm going to have to go Tank and Evans. I mean, I like Pittman this week, but I don't think his upside is that of the other two guys. So I really think all three are good options, half PPR. I think I feel better about the last two scoring touchdowns as well. So I'm going to go Evans and Tank. What's up, Python? Of course, when you join in, hit the like button, hit subscribe, you hit notification bell that tells you as soon as we go live. So that way you know, which is pretty much every day, but then you're informed you can join in and get your comments in as soon as possible. So Python also is in our draft. So talking about Underdog, we did a draft, and Boomer, good afternoon, Boomer, also wants to humble brag here. Look, do it. This is why we do it, right? It's not for this huge, cash prize. Won Friday's endgame draft. Where's the proof? All right, well, I got the proof, so don't worry. I'm going to show it because Python was in there. I was in there, of course. Chris was in there. Boomer was in there. Let's do this right now because promise is a promise. All right. Hopefully everyone sees that. All right. So this is our draft now. For those who don't know what this is, what we're talking about. Besides doing those pick'ems and talking about the picks we like, we do now on Fridays, last couple Fridays, we've done a draft with you guys for Underdog weekly picks. It's a 6 round draft. It's a 10-person draft. And as you can see right there, the leaderboard taking the gold is Sir Boomer. And once again, for the second week in a row, taking second place, first runner-up, that would be me. 4 points away from you, Boomer. It was so close. And then Python was third. So there you go. We got the trifecta back-to-back here. All right, so let's see what it is that he did that paid off. Taking CJ Stroud, yep, that paid off. ETN actually didn't have a good game, but didn't matter because talk about this, even though it's just a 1 week thing, you got to think about like best ball. Forget floor. Who cares? You shoot for the ceiling. The guy who could have a big week. Saquon Barkley had a big week because he faced Washington. So Saquon Barkley definitely paid off huge. He was your high scorer. And then a wide receiver, your other Jaguar, also didn't pay off. Didn't do much at all. Christian Kirk. I know Mary Jo is a little upset about Christian Kirk as well. Should be. But Calvin Ridley did. So I guess between the 3 Jags, you picked one of them. At least 2 boomed. So I guess it paid off. There you go. Calvin Ridley did have a boom game. I can't remember who said calling the Ridley big game would be legend status. We'll get to that later because he did have a big game. And then George Kittle, let me just say this. I took George Kittle last week and helped me come in second place. He had a big week. He had a big week again. So maybe we're on to something here. But there you go. Boomer's team went with Stroud, had Ridley, big game, Barkley, big game, Kittle, a good game. So even when you have 2 players that don't really do much, it doesn't matter. You had those big games. That helped you win. We'll quickly go over my runner-up team here. Hey, at least I doubled my $3 entry. Brock Purdy turned out to be a pretty good pick. I waited on quarterback. In fact, I was the last of the 10 teams to take a quarterback. I wound up one of the higher scoring quarterbacks, and that's okay. So went with Purdy, Montgomery, and Robinson, both solid, not amazing games, but really good numbers. Keenan Allen, I knew that would be a good pick. Mike Evans, I thought he would do better. At least he scored. He was okay, and then Trey McBride, well, a couple more points, Trey. That would have helped, but still a pretty good team. Python, let's see. Trevor Lawrence, that was a good call. Tony Pollard, you took a chance. Look, also not a huge game, but at least he finally scored. Breece Hall also. CeeDee Lamb, not a monster game, but still got you some points. Christian Watson, man, we kind of laughed at that pick. At least he scored. He did give you some points, enough to creep into third place. And then everything. We had a lot of Jags in the slate here. All right, so there it is, and there's the whole list. Congrats to Boomer. Sir Boomer is the champion for Week 11, and you did win yourself a little bit of cash here. So hope you all join us again for the next one. It's fun. I mean, I'm assuming you like drafting. If you like fantasy football, to me, that's the best part. And so you get to draft every week all over again. Look, you should be bragging, Boomer. You should be bragging. You won. You did it. Congrats. Yeah, it was an interesting week. It was definitely an interesting week. We'll break down some of that later. But let me do some more questions here. All right. Eric Castellanos, would you rather take a flyer on Rashawn or Sanders? Don't think you can call Sanders a flyer here anymore, and not just because we already know him. It's just because taking anybody in that Carolina Panthers offense is kind of like taking a can of gasoline to your fantasy team and just lighting it on fire. I'm not going to take a chance on Sanders or anybody there. I would rather see Look, Deontay Foreman actually got banged up in this game, so maybe instead of an ugly 3-man committee, maybe it's more of a two-guy thing with Rashawn Johnson and Khalil Herbert now, who didn't really get that much run. Just take a chance on Rashawn, because what are we going to get with Sanders? Well, we already know it's not good. So just offense, man. I really don't know how Frank Reich keeps his job. What has he proven? All right, Chris all in. Lost Andrews. All right, so we need a pick here. We got Likely, Hudson, Parham, Muth, Jonnu Smith, or Cade Otton. Or should I trade CMC for no? Okay, well, Eckler and Laporta, but no, I wouldn't don't trade CMC. Don't do this just to get a tight end. So the waiver wire video did come out already today, and I talked about Likely not being my top pick. Muth is the guy I think is the best long term. Otton is just too inconsistent and doesn't really have big games. Jonnu Smith, no thank you. Parham is truly touchdown or bust. He only got a couple of catches here this week because everybody else is hurt in that receiver corps. Tanner Hudson, I will tell you this. I like Muth best rest of the season, but I think I like Hudson best this week. And it wouldn't surprise me if Hudson was actually just as good or better rest of the season because, man, Kenny Pickett looks really bad, and they're not throwing the ball much. So I think for sure this week, if I need one, I'm going to go with Hudson. But I'm also going to, if possible, I hate the idea of having two tight ends off the waiver wire, both. But maybe just because you don't know which, who will do what, maybe see if you can get Freiermuth too. So it's between those two guys for me. Michael Cazares. All right, we need to start three here. Monty, Henry, Achane, Swift, and White in non-PPR. I remember I had the same dilemma last week. Well, you know what? Starting Achane didn't pay off. I don't know if it'll pay off this week with that injury. I'm just going to scratch him. Just say don't even risk it with Achane. There's no need. I think you got to keep starting Monty in non-PPR for sure. Swift, don't know what he'll do tonight. I don't think it matters. He's still a really good running back and a good team. I'm going to start Swift. Henry and White. It really should be Henry non-PPR, but White has been scoring more touchdowns than Derrick Henry, which sounds odd. But this week, even though I do like Rachaad White this week, I think I do have to keep Derrick Henry in there because he faces the Panthers. And we know the Panthers, besides being really bad, are also one of the worst run defenses specifically. In non-PPR, I think I'm going to keep Henry in there this week. So I'm going to go Henry, Monty. I know you hate to bench White. I like White this week, but I'll go Swift here. All right, Steven also lost Andrews. We have Taysom. Should I use Andrews spot another tight end or Odell? Well, if those are your options, then you might as well just go for Odell. Again, I'm not big on Likely, Otton, Henry, whatever. Musgrave maybe, but I'd rather just take a chance on Taysom doing something in my lineup. So I think just grab Odell because, again, the thinking here is he benefits, as I talked about in the video, from Andrews being out. He's been good already. He had been good for 2 straight weeks, good in fantasy, but also making big plays. And then we saw making more big plays down the field. He's going to get used more. I think the target share increases. So I'm going to just go Odell, and I'll just play Taysom. I think that's fine. Don't love starting Taysom at tight end, but, when you lose your stud tight end for the season, there's not much else you can do. If you had a better option here, maybe I would go somewhere else, but none of those guys is doing it for me. All right, what's up, Kevin? Started Mostert and Connor over Rachaad White and Singletary. Well, it's okay. It's okay. Look, I'll take the fall for the Mostert thing. Mostert wasn't bad. He had 80-something yards, almost 100 total yards. He just didn't score because they gave it to Ahmed near the goal line. Just didn't have a big game, and Connor was okay. Singletary, who knew? Who knew Devin Singletary would be this year's league winner? So I think this next week we just have to start Singletary, don't we? So, look, can't get them all right. Can't get them all right. What's up, Big Luscious? stuck. Do I sell Pollard and Adams or Etienne? You're asking to sell both those guys? You're packaging Pollard and Adams for Etienne? I mean, I definitely prefer Etienne over Pollard. So I think this is a smart idea. Am I going to do both Pollard and Adams for Etienne? I'm not worried just about one bye week, but yeah, I'd rather have Etienne. I don't know if this is a little too much. Can you get something else back, like another receiver to offset Adams, like a low-end receiver at least? It feels like I would do this. I would give can't you just give, well, I guess he wants Pollard. Why he wants Pollard. I'm okay trading those two to get Etienne, just see if you can get a little something back to make it a little more even. I guess that's what I would say. Spearsy, yeah, Justin Jefferson says he tends to play. Well, from what I understand, he has to play next week because his window has been activated. If he doesn't play, that would have been, a total of 3 weeks, and he has to play or he's done for the season. So it might make more sense if they hadn't activated him in time. If he wasn't going to play, that would have made more sense. If he's going to sit out these last 2 weeks, then why activate him? I guess they didn't know, but I'm almost positive he plays this week. Now, here's the question is, how much does he play? How well will he play? Like, how does he look? So I think you still have to play him if he plays, and there's risk, and that's okay. And then he gets the bye. So I think he might be a little limited this coming week, but I'm sure he's going to play because he kind of has to. All right, what's up, Joe? Joe Castles. Trade Waddle and Brian Robinson for Ridley and Swift. Well, I would have said no to this because Ridley has been so inconsistent, but at least he's had some big games, and Waddle really hasn't. I think I would do this. I think I'll take the Ridley Swift side. Swift and Robinson are looking pretty comparable right now. I still think you got to give the edge to Swift, barely. And right now, I guess you have to give somewhat of an edge to Ridley. I don't know what's going on with Waddle. I'm not sure why he's just not getting targeted as much. I've got to think maybe he's just not 100%. He's had some back issues. So, yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I would have said no to this, but I think you can do this. And then, okay, there's a different one. Robinson and Devontae Smith for Ridley and Swift. No, I'd rather trade Waddle. Yeah, do the first one just because Waddle, he's just not getting enough targets. Again, don't know if he's just not right. Dolphins' schedule down the stretch isn't great. Like, it's fine, but it's not great. So, yeah, I think you do the first one. MC wants to know, trade away Amari. Sure. For who? Well, depends what you can get. I think everyone else sees what we all see is that Amari Cooper is just not good without Deshaun Watson. You got DTR there. Just so many short, throws. It's amazing how much he threw. I think he had 43 attempts or something crazy. But they were all really, really short throws, and like half of them went to David Njoku. I mean, Njoku seems like his value goes up. Amari Cooper, we just have to acknowledge his value is lower. So, what could you realistically get for him? I wouldn't be surprised right now if it's like even Cortland Sutton. Might be too much. Rashee Rice. If you're lucky, you could try to get a Debo coming off where he didn't have a huge game, but I don't know what you can get from Amari these days. Maybe Chris Godwin because he hasn't put up big numbers the last 2 weeks, but I think he'll be more consistent down the stretch. Try for somebody like that. Parabellum, hey. Would you drop Goddard for Charbonnet? Yeah, I think, I don't know who your other tight end is. If you obviously have somebody because you're not playing Goddard. So you can't, unfortunately, put Goddard on IR, but the good news is he's not on IR. So that's the thing is if you are just streaming tight end or you're playing somebody who isn't a great option rest of the season, you don't want to drop Goddard, but you do definitely want to pick up Charbonnet. So it really depends who your tight end is. If you're picking up Charbonnet, maybe you have a number 5 running back type, like somebody who you don't need. So without knowing your whole roster, ideally I wouldn't drop Goddard, but if you have to, or if you really don't need another tight end, then that's fine. All right, KR, should we try to get Kupp now that he has doubt? Oh, well, I had just bought low on Kupp a week ago in 2 leagues, and now I'm regretting it, but I mean, we'll see. I don't know if it's a long-term injury. It doesn't seem like it is. It sounds like it's just like a thing where he could have come in. They didn't want to risk it. I say this now, but who knows? It's Monday. Trading Walker and Ridley and Fields, that feels like too much. Because Walker, you're saying he's your 4th running back, but he's still a good, solid starting running back, although he might be out multiple weeks. I feel worse about him than Kupp injury-wise. Fields, I don't know if you're just throwing in Fields, though. I mean, I guess you can do Walker since he's going to be hurt, and Ridley if you want to take a chance. Again, just acknowledge the risk. I think it's okay to do. I'm right now honestly more worried about Matt Stafford. He just doesn't look good. He looks like he's done, like just toast. So I don't know. This is a risk. If you want to take a chance, you can do that. I don't think I would trade all 3 of those guys. Walker and Ridley, because you don't use them, I guess you can do that. Johnny Donuts, what's up? Have Devontae, he has Kelsey, and you're tied. Wow. I mean, this is going to be back and forth. Who knows? I don't have the numbers on the latest Taylor Swift whereabouts and what this means for Travis Kelce's fantasy output, but whatever it is, I hope it works in your favor. So good luck. Max has Swift needs 24. It is definitely possible. It's more doable than Mary Jo's. She needs, 32? Yeah, it's doable. Look, a guy gets a couple of touchdowns, 100-yard game. Like, I'm not saying he will do that against the Chiefs, but it is possible. It is possible. I'm not holding my breath, but it is possible. All right, let's see. Rob, down 20 with Hurts left. Oh, but they have Kelsey. Okay, well, I was going to say you still got a good shot, but you do still have a chance, which is better than no chance. Okay, this is the better chance. Jace Stellenbach had down by 20, but you have Rice and Pacheco. Now, that's not Kelsey or Mahomes, but still, you do have a chance. Rice and Pacheco, you could do it. I will tell you this: I just traded for Pacheco, which is weird because I always say no to Pacheco and start sit. But at least down the stretch, he's a solid RB2 type. He gets the touches. He has some upside. So, look, I think he'll have a decent game. You'll be all right. Frank Fusco down 6 and I got Devontae and Pacheco. I mean, if you don't win this game, it's an upset. I don't even know what to call it. Like tilting, shocking. Yeah, you should win this one pretty easily. So you're definitely safe. I would say this. All right, Biggity Brown is 9-2. Looking for suggestions on defenses. Wait, week 16 and 17, we're looking for defenses. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna go ahead and look at the schedule here to tell you. Wait, are you stashing a defense right now for week 16 and 17? Because what if one of the defenses, look, and this happened to the Steelers, you wouldn't know it. They played rookie quarterback, but they lost their starting middle linebacker, Quan Alexander, a week after losing the other starting linebacker, Cole Holcomb. That defense is definitely not as good as it was a couple of weeks ago. And they've also been without who was in the secondary. Minka Fitzpatrick has been out a couple games. And one injury could turn a defense around. The Chargers already were bad in defense. Now they just lost Joey Bozo, though he's always hurt, so whatever. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't necessarily look ahead to stream a defense in week 16, 17 now. I would just say if you can get a team like the Jets, because they played Buffalo, maybe some people dropped them. They played the Commanders in week 16. Like, they can get turnovers and sacks there, and they're a good defense. You could just do that. Yeah, I think that's long enough on defenses. Daniel Ruski. Down 19 with AJ. Do you got it? You maybe got it, but I can't say for sure you got it because Chiefs secondary has been pretty good. I mean, an AJ big game is always a good bet, but this might not be it. So I say you maybe got it, but I can't say I have a ton of confidence. Joe Gonzalez wants to know, worried about Garrett Wilson or Marquise Brown? I mean, are we more or less worried about Garrett Wilson with a new quarterback? I mean, could it be worse? Possibly. I really don't think Zach Wilson's been staying in there because they really feel like it's going to turn around at any moment. I feel like it's because maybe where he was drafted, and they just feel like they have to give him every chance possible to succeed before they, throw the towel on him. The towel has been thrown. I'm okay with Garrett Wilson. I'm more worried about Marquise Brown because he got his quarterback back. And I'll tell you this, I'm glad you brought up Hollywood because watching parts of that game, it looked like there was something off with him. Like he was dogging it in one play. It didn't look like he even turned around. That interception shouldn't have happened. I mean, he could have adjusted to that ball and even caught it. But even so, it looks like he just turned and just kind of let the defender get it. He didn't really make much of an effort. He just looks, I don't know. He looks out of it. Like last game, he just didn't look. And I think I see why people say, well, they're not targeting him. I see why they're not targeting him. There's something off. I don't know what it is. So I'm more worried about Hollywood because he should be doing better. And some reason, I don't know, he just looks off. Ooh, okay. Now here's the dilemma. Jake P. You need to pick between Rice and Pacheco to get 16 points. I'm going to say if it's PPR, I'm going Rice pretty easily here. You figure they're going to be passing the ball quite a bit. Rice is a guy who will get the receptions. Pacheco, not really a pass-catching running back, so the floor is lower. I think the ceiling's lower here. Rice is beginning touchdowns. I mean, if Pacheco breaks off a big run, sure, but even in full PPR, big run, a touchdown, you're hoping for 100 yards in the touchdown. I think I feel better about Rice in terms of volume. So if it's me, again, assuming this is PPR or even half, I'm going Rice. Sir Boomer, let's see, up 35 and have Devontae Smith. Opponent has the defense and the kicker. You're more than good. You're going to pull out 2 W's this week. All right, Adam Thompson down 43. Yeah, Hurts and Devontae could start Rice in Smith's place. No. I would never start Rice over Devontae, but also you want that stacked together to, increase your chances of getting the points together. Leave it alone. You have a chance. Look, Hurts, of course, could have a big game, so I do think you have a decent chance here. And then Chad asking the same thing, flex between, standard flex. Now, I don't know your situation. Are you losing or you're winning or whatever? In standard, I think I have to prefer Pacheco slightly. It's closer here. I mean, I think Rice is still not a bad pick, even in standard. But I think in standard, I'll go Pacheco. Okay, an interesting trade. Christopher E. Ty Chandler and James Cook for JT. Okay, so if somebody gave you JT for those 2 guys, congratulations, well done. You got the fleece here. I know James Cook looked good the last 2 weeks, but you're getting JT for these guys. Yes, that would be almost like if the guy who's giving you JT is in the bottom of the standings, this might look like collusion. Yeah, I hope you're getting the JT side. Aldo Avalos says K9 for Rashad White, a good trade. If you're getting Rashad White, it is. If you're doing the other, then no. K9 is not only losing snaps to Charbonnet, he's hurt. Almost guarantee he'll miss this week, and there's a chance he misses next week too. You heard Pete Carroll. He said that's a legit injury, which I still don't know what he thinks that means, but it's legit. Like it's serious enough that, he's worried. So I'm taking Rashad White here for sure. Paul Bird. Need Devontae Smith to get 10 points? You could definitely do this. I think you're good. If that's all you need, and I had to put money, I would put it on your side. I think Devontae Smith gets 10 points. There's never a guarantee in fantasy, but yeah, he should be able to get 10 points. Again, assuming full PPR. If it's full PPR, yeah, feel pretty good. Paul, in relation to the reliever for the Atlanta Braves years ago, I used to be a Braves fan. Adam needs Smith to get at least 20. That's different. 10 and 20, that's a pretty big gap. He could do it, but I wouldn't bet on that side, so we'll see. Ooh, Jesse down by 2. A battle between Hurts and Mahomes. I mean, it really could go either way. I would prefer the Hurts side because obviously we know what he can do on the ground. I think I would prefer Hurts, even though you know that KC's defense has been pretty good this year. All right, Connor Vance just traded Ridley and Eckler for Kupp and Swift. Okay. I have a feeling we'll see a lot of Ridley trades this week, one way or the other. People buying into it after last week or people selling high. And I still don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I think it really depends with him on the schedule. Ridley and Eckler for Kupp and Swift. I mean, I would rather have Eckler, but Swift is obviously still good. This all comes down to Kupp, really. It all comes down to what Kupp does rest of the season. It seems like it could be fair. It could wind up fair in the end. It just all comes down to Kupp. Right now, I would say I'd probably rather have the Ridley Eckler side, but we'll see. We'll see what Kupp does. Estimated. All right, John, getting specific here. John Toll, estimated points for Rice. I mean, he doesn't really have big yardage games, 100-yard games. 60s is usually where he's at. Catches like 4 to 5. So again, you're assuming full PPR. If he scores a touchdown, he's like about 15, 16 points. If he doesn't score a touchdown, which I wouldn't bet on, maybe 11, 10, 11. I'll split the difference. No, I won't. That doesn't make sense. I'll say no touchdown. I'll go 11 points. We'll see. All right, Stefan. Condolences. I can see you're a Bengals fan. Bad end of the season here. I need help and leading by 7.5 PPR. Opponent has Kelsey. Ooh. Go one-on-one. Okay, but you are up. So in this case, I'm going to go Swift. If you were down and you needed the potential, the big game here, I would go Devontae Smith. But again, you're up. I feel good enough about Swift. I'm definitely going with the floor play. So, Stefan, I'm going Swift. All right, Benny. What's up, Benny? Started Waddle over early. Hey, it happens. I know there was a whole thing on, what was it, Saturday? I think it was Saturday about Ridley. Someone said if we call a big game for Ridley, legend status. I called it. I said, all right, start Ridley, fire him up. I don't know if I said start him over Waddle in every single instance because Waddle should have had a big game. You never know, man. There's no way you could have known Ridley would go off because when's the last time he did that? So it's all right. We just got to move on next week. Douglas Sears, would you trade away Kelsey and Sharp for Olave, Laporta, and Aaron Jones? Now, Aaron Jones is another one. You saw he got carted off. That knee's been bothering him all year. I mean, at this point, you're just hoping he comes back in a couple weeks and does something. I'm almost just not considering him in this trade. It's like a flyer. So you're basically saying, okay, Kelsey to get Laporta, downgrade there, Charbonnet to get Olave. I mean, I think I would take Olave here. If this helps you and you're starting Olave, I think it's doable. But only if you need a receiver like Olave and he's going to start for you, and that's like an upgrade for you. You know, if you've been rolling out a guy like Jerry Jeudy, well, take Olave side. I think that's fair. Yeah, a lot of leagues here, you know, Frank's asking, you know, people still allowed to trade. Some leagues don't have a trade deadline. Some leagues it's later in the year. So every league's different. All right. Danny V. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate that. All right, so full PPR, 3 receivers, a flex. All right, let's break this down. Goff and Carr. Probably drop Carr. ETN, Eckler, Kyron, Singletary. Okay, so that's definitely good. You're rock solid at running back, especially Kyron comes back. AJ Brown, Mike Evans, Nico, Amari, DJ, and Shaheed. Auden and Janu. Ooh, okay. So your weak spot, only weak spot really is tight end. Man, Amari was so good for you, but now he's not. Okay, so offered Chase, Pacheco, and Schultz for Etienne and Evans. So you'd give up Etienne and Evans? I would not do this. There's no way. No way. It's not worth getting. With Chase being the situation the way it is, if this was Jamar Chase before Joe Burrow injury, okay, I'll do it. Jamar Chase now, sorry, it's not the same. There's no way you can say, well, he'll be, no, there's no way. There's no way you can say Jamar Chase is close to the same fantasy value. So I wouldn't do this because I'd rather have Evans, honestly. This is I'm getting what I'm getting with him. He's been good all season. Definitely rather have Etienne than Pacheco. And Schultz is not this massive. You're not getting Laporta. You're not getting Kelsey. Schultz will be inconsistent. He's good, but I'm not sacrificing 2 studs on my team just to slightly improve at tight end. Counter for Mixon instead. For Mixon? No, that's not a guy. No. I don't want to be rolling out Eckler and Mixon. I mean, I know you can say, well, I got Kyron. No, look, don't do this just to improve at tight end. So I would say if you want to get Schultz, do a smaller scale deal. This guy obviously wants upgraded running back. Of course he does. See if he wants Kyron, and don't mess with your top 2 running backs. Devin Singletary has been great 2 straight weeks. See if he wants Singletary. You don't have to get a running back in exchange. Say, look, just take him and give me a guy like Schultz. Even then, I feel like it might be an overpay, but it helps your team at least. So, but I'm not doing that deal there. You're not getting enough with Chase now. I just don't. I think you're going to mess with a good team. So other than that, I'll also say, Danny, you can definitely drop Carr because you shouldn't ever start him. Just go with Goff. There might be some tight ends on the waiver wire that I mentioned in the video that could be useful to you. Maybe not. But yeah, you got a good team. I don't think you need to mess with it. All right, let's see what else we got. Corey, Pacheco, Warren, or Gus rest of season. That one's tough. I think in a standard league, you just have to say it's Gus because he keeps scoring touchdowns. But I think right now Warren has got to be the guy, not just because he's a starter or whatever. That doesn't matter. He's just been good. He's giving you some receptions. He's looking like he's going to be not only the top running back there, but he's looking like an every week starter now because they're running the ball so much, which is smart. So I'm going to go Warren here. If it's a non-PPR, maybe Gus. And I actually think I'm putting Pacheco last because the ceiling isn't as high. All right, Javier Torre won because he didn't start HN. All right, lucky there. Lost Cup and got lucky. Opponent had, so man, your matchup was full of injuries. I mean, that's the thing. You just don't know, man. You just don't know when a guy is going to go down. All right, Christopher, review this trade. Yeah, well, we already went over that. So Chandler and Cook, Taylor. Now, again, Christopher, if you're getting Taylor, this is good. If you're giving up JT to get those two, don't do this. Don't do this. Rest of the season, Evan Ingram or Taysom. I'm going to go Ingram, a guy who's getting, pretty consistent targets and usage, a team that's going to pass the ball a lot. Taysom, you just don't know. I mean, he's fine to flex in the stream if you need to, but obviously we already know what happens with Taysom. Is Singletary a lock? No, nobody's a lock. Hardly anybody, guys. These guys are locks. Yeah, he's been good, but again, I'm not going to be shocked when he has a game where he gets 30 yards, So right now, yes, pick him up. Right now, depending on who else you got, probably start him, but I'm not going to call him a lock. Sumo Koyo, is Diggs worth playing? Yes. He hasn't been doing much. Oh, are you over him? Well, yeah. How can you not start both of these guys? Is my question. Like, who else do you have that you're benching Ayuk? That is my real big question right now, because Ayuk was a smash start last week. I wouldn't have sat Diggs. I mean, I'm never starting Diggs, but that's where I'm questioning, how are you sitting Ayuk? You definitely want to start Ayuk and Diggs. Just because Diggs had a couple down games doesn't mean anything. Let's not worry about that. An interesting one. Trade GB7892 traded Tua and Gibbs for Eckler. Yeah, if you already have a good quarterback, then I think that's good. I'll take Eckler. I know Gibbs has been good, and then Eckler didn't look great yesterday. So what? I'm taking Eckler. He could score 2 touchdowns any given game. He's still one of the top running backs out there. I'm not going to ever worry about Eckler. So, yeah, if Tua is not a guy who you had to keep, yeah. Now, this is interesting. Jeffrey Abla podcast. Would you trade Achane to get Olave? I mean, right now, knowing that Achane is hurt again, sure, why not? Because we know there's going to be risk that it happens again. So if you need Olave, I like Olave versus he's not giving up on him. I think he's been really good. People think he hasn't because he hasn't blown up, but I'll take Olave here. All right, Miles Isle, 7-4. Got Fields, Etienne, Jacobs, Tyreek Cup, Devontae Schultz, Rice, JSN, Dawson Shakir, QJ Freeman. How can I improve squad for the playoffs? All right. You don't have JT, so you really don't need to hold Moss. Man, I'm back out on QJ. He just doesn't look good. He even had opportunities. That touchdown that really should have been a game-winning touchdown, he just dropped. Just not good. Anyways, I don't think you have to hold those guys, but beyond that, Etienne and Jacobs, you really can't improve on that. Fields looks great. Tyreek Cup, you just got to hope he's healthy. I really don't see anything significant here. Rice has been solid. Yeah, I don't really think there's anything you need to do. If you can still trade in your league, I don't think you necessarily need to do something to shake up this roster. I think you're good. Now, if Cup misses time, well, then you're having to start JSN or Dotson or Shakir. So I would just say drop some of those guys like Johnston and Moss and pick up some different guys, some more running back flyers. If there's anybody available, I don't know who in your league, but just handcuff running backs, guys with upside if the worst happens. I would do that. Other than that, I don't think there's much you need to do. Brian, not sure about this. If this was Zeke from 2 years ago, maybe, but yeah, I would just say respect to you for actually having Zeke in your lineup. Not sure why he would be in your lineup, especially when they're on a bye week. Oh, no. Are you talking about the kicker, Jake Elliott? Yeah, I don't think you're going to get from a kicker that many points. Opponent had Hurts. This is Dan DBC. What's up, Dan? Up by 6. Opponent has Hurts. I have Kelsey left. I'm going to have to go with the Hurts side, but, keep your fingers crossed. You definitely have a chance. Now, I did answer this earlier. Govin, Sandu, Rice, or Pacheco. It depends. Are you up? Are you down? How much? PPR, standard. It kind of depends on the context here. If I had to close my eyes and pick, I would just go Rice. But in a standard league, I might prefer Pacheco. If you're winning, I might prefer Pacheco. If you're losing, you might give the edge to Rice. So that's all I got. Joe, what's up, Joe, again? Long-term, Ridley or Kirk? You keep asking. I'm still going to go Kirk. I know it's easy to say that that's a bad choice now after Ridley had a blow-up game, but we also have to remember before this week what happened. Everyone was panicking on Ridley. So Kirk is more consistent. I think just because it was a Ridley game, it will be down Ridley games. I'm still going to go Kirk. Zach Games, trade Achane or Chase? Or are you asking trade Achane for Chase? Because if you're saying or, I don't know, you're asking which one to trade, or should I trade both? Let me just say this. If you're asking to trade Achane for Chase, sure, I would do that. If you're asking whether either are worth trading away, yes. Although, I don't know who's trading for Achane. Probably some people are still doing this, but there's a lot of risk there now. I'm not going to trade for Chase right now. It's just not a good idea. If I can sell high on Chase, I'll do it. All right, Gustin Olvera, Eckler and Waddle for Amon-Ra and JT. Also down 30, have Hurts and Kelsey. He has Butker. Okay, down 30. I have Hurts and Kelsey. You definitely have a chance here. You definitely have a good chance. Not a great chance, but a good chance. Eckler and Waddle for Amon-Ra and JT. Man. Now, in this case, I will go and give away Eckler. I would definitely take Amon-Ra over Waddle easily, and JT and Eckler should be pretty comparable. I think I give the slight edge to Eckler, but to get Amon-Ra, yeah, if you're getting Amon-Ra and JT, I'm doing this. So hopefully that's the side you're getting. Not sorry about trading you, Cup. Yeah, no, you're not sorry. That's okay. Hey, I'm pretty sure I initiated that. I was looking to get him. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I should have known better than to trust the Rams. All right, Daryl, there's a more reasonable defense question. Needs an available streaming defense for week 12. Now that I can do pretty easily. So this coming week, you need a defense to stream. Let's see who's got that's available. Someone that you might actually be able to pick up. You might, after this week, be able to pick up the Chiefs defense. Probably a lot of people didn't start them because they're playing the Eagles tonight. And so then you can pick up the Chiefs. They play the Raiders next week. And Aiden O'Connell has thrown interceptions. So I think that's a good one. Who else might be available? I would go maybe the Cardinals. They're going to be at home against the Rams, especially if Cooper Kupp doesn't play. We don't know about Kyren Williams. I mean, Matt Stafford hasn't looked great. I wouldn't mind if you really are, getting deep there. You could go with the Cardinals. Their defense, looked decent. They picked off CJ Stroud, which is crazy. He'd thrown more interceptions than they did all season. So who knows what's going on there. And then I think you could go with either the ugliest game of the week, the Patriots and the Giants. Both offenses are so bad that you might be able to stream either defense. Maybe even better to go with the Giants defense. You saw the Giants defense look good, I think, last week. And we don't even know who the quarterback's going to be for the Patriots. So the Giants are kind of a deep pick that might pay off for you. So those are my favorite streaming defenses for week 12. All right, what's up, Trone? Down a mere 56. At least you kept it to double digits. Have Mahomes, Swift, and Butker going. Your opponent has a defense. I mean, Mahomes with a good game, maybe in the 20s. I don't know that I expect him to go ham. Swift has a good game. And Butker, I mean, I can't say you don't have a shot, but you're really hoping for a shootout here, a big shootout. So I would still have to be a little pessimistic here, but you got a shot. Is Chase behind Tank Dell? Mello wants to know. He might be. He might be, honestly. And I think that's sad, but it's just the way it is. But I think that's just the reality. Things happen, right? Not Chase's fault. His quarterback's out for the season, but we can't pretend Jamar Chase is just Jamar Chase and it doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. It matters a lot. So I think he might be. I haven't really fleshed all this out in terms of rest of season rankings because that changes on a daily basis, but I think he might have to be. What's up, Kyle? Kyle Burks. Would you trade Swift for both Kyler and Gus Edwards because you lost Burrow. Okay, in this case, I guess so. I mean, I hate to trade for a quarterback and give up a stud running back, but I guess Gus can fill the void to some extent here. You getting Kyler, I think that's worth it. Like if you told me that you were getting, I don't know why Baker Mayfield's like the default, but like Jordan Love or even like Sam Howell, I'd be like, no. But you're getting Kyler, yeah, I think you can do this. All right. Well, Gerald Alvarado. Thoughts on Josh Downs? Well, I told you my thoughts in the waiver wire video. So if you guys haven't checked it out yet, it's out today. Mentioned Josh Downs as a sneaky ad because, again, coming off a bye, but also for him specifically before that, he had that knee injury. So he missed a game and then he came back and then he immediately left that game. So I can't guarantee he's 100% right now. He had the week off, so he should be better for sure. But I think he's a strong ad. If he's a go this week and he plays, I think he's a strong streamer too because it's a great matchup. So I like Josh Downs the rest of the season. I'm going to pick him up if he's available. All right, let's see what else. Week 12. No, let's go somewhere else here. Kevin. M. Trade Achane for Stevenson and Chandler. Your ship is sinking. I mean, look, if you need to pull out a win this week, I don't love it, but actually I will tell you this, not that I'm, going crazy for Chandler. I don't want to trade for Chandler, but I like Stevenson this week. I think he's going to have a big week, and I think he's going to be solid rest of the year. So I think if you need a running back, and obviously you do, I'm okay doing this because we don't know if Achane's going to play this week. We don't know if he plays, if he's going to go out again. I think if you're in a situation where you have to win, I think you can do this. So you can start Stevenson. All right, what about John Sasaki? Leading by 16 against Butker and Swift. You do have a chance. I mean, I would say I might give the edge to the Butker Swift side, but it's going to be close. Yeah, you're going to sweat this one out. Let's just put it that way. Don't check. Look, here's what I do. I don't look at my fantasy scores and matchups. Honestly, I don't even look at them until the week is over. I'll wait till tomorrow. Tuesday is when I see, okay, so did I win? Did I lose? Now, it's easy for me to do this because I've been playing fantasy for 25 years and I'm in like 20 leagues. So each individual matchup really doesn't mean as much to me. What's more important to me is getting these calls right and helping you guys win. But that said, it's aggravating. I've been there. Trust me. I've been there. I've been sitting there with the score of the app, watching the entire time, watching the fractional points go up. It really doesn't make you enjoy life anymore. It doesn't make you win. It doesn't help your team win by rooting them on. Just see what happens. Whatever happens, right? You can celebrate or, curse the next day. But and you can root for your guy. Like, oh, I know I need Swift to have a big game. Or I guess in your case, you don't want Swift to have a big game. But even then, it is what it is. Let's just put it that way. It was an interesting one. Casual cheesehead. Like, not a diehard cheesehead. Casual cheesehead. Would you trade Ridley and Pacheco for Henry and Garrett Wilson? I mean, I would rather have Henry, even as bad as he's been the last couple of weeks. Garrett Wilson with Tim Boyle. Good. I might do this. I might do this to get the Henry Wilson side. I mean, I feel like there will be some better days for Henry. I really don't see how Garrett Wilson could be worse with a different quarterback. So, and look, who knows? Maybe Aaron Rodgers comes back in week 16. I don't know. But yeah, I think I would do this. All right, Terry R. 9-11. Oh, 9-1. I traded away Chase and Goddard for JJ. Yeah, why not? Goddard's not playing. Chase just got a downgrade. JJ should be back this week, and I know that he gets the bye, but yeah, I would do this. and you're in 9-1, I mean, obviously you want to play for the playoffs and who's best down the stretch. I think we got to prefer Jefferson with Dobbs as opposed to Chase with Browning. So, yeah, I think this is smart. I'll do that. Good question, Rob. Yeah, with a lot of trade deadline, we talked about this, and so we still do, and we're still going to do this week, like buy low videos and trade videos, because as you see, a lot of people are still trading. I know a lot of trade deadlines did pass, but not for everybody. Some people can still trade. So we will still do trade videos for at least a couple more weeks, I think. So many injuries. A lot of people asking rest of the season, who do you got? Because you want to know how to set your lineups, how to plan for the future, how to, get ready for the playoffs. I mean, rest of the season is tricky. I hate doing rest of the season rankings because, again, it changes like every day. It's almost no point, trying to hit a moving target. But I don't mind doing a rest of the season for a week. Like right now, this is the way you should view those guys. So I think not yet, but pretty soon we will do rest of the season strategy videos for the playoffs and such. So the short answer is I think yes. Alex, Debo for Connor. Well, this one really depends because Connor is a solid but not must-start running back. Debo is a solid but not must-start receiver. Like he always has upside, but he doesn't always have a big game. So this comes down to need. I would generally rather have the running back. I think Connor for Debo is totally fair. If this helps your roster, if you'd rather have a running back, go Connor. I think this is fine. Now this one, Sam Ball, Debo or Dell, crazy, but I think it has to be Dell. Like, how can it not be? We can't just look at this point and look, okay, well, last year Debo did this, and the year before, and then Tank. Like, it doesn't matter who is doing what over the last several weeks right now over the course of the season, who's been better. It's Tank. I think we just have to just acknowledge Tank is going to be an every week starter, and he's going to have some downs with the ups, but I think we just have to say Tank at this point. Oh, man, so here we go. Malo Marcel, do we have to say Tank? Waddle or Dell? I mean, again, how can you not say Dell? How can you look at anything and say, well, Waddle, sure, he always could have a big play, but I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. But this week, he's going against the Jets. It's got to be Tank. Like, there's no question really at all. It's got to be Tank. Oh, yeah. Mario Gallegos, drop Henderson. Absolutely. Pick up Charbonnet. Pick up Charbonnet if you can. I'm going to say this to everybody. Pick up Charbonnet if you can. Whether you need a running back or not, whether you had Kenneth Walker or not, pick him up just so that you have him in case he goes ballistic the rest of the season. But also, it stops somebody else from getting him. And I know Chris isn't as crazy about the strategy. He's like, oh, you don't have to worry about what the other team does. Yeah, if you have a guy who's going to go off and you're like, well, I don't really need him, so I'm going to let somebody else have him. If you have somebody else who picks him up and he's going to be a top 10 running back rest of the season, you might face that guy in the playoffs. I mean, you don't know. And this is a guy that you could have gone with instead of one of your players. So, again, don't drop a starter to pick him up. I don't say you absolutely have to no matter what, but if he's a top ad, he's a top ad. Pick him up. Henderson, you can drop Henderson for whatever at this point. Kyren Williams is coming back. I don't know about this. Look, when Pierce comes back, Singletary value will plummet. Pierce has been hurt. Pierce hasn't been playing. But Pierce has been bad even before he was hurt. I just don't know if Pierce is the better back. Pierce has been bad. He's averaging, I think, less than 3 yards per carry. Singletary was the first running back in this team to finally do something. And I don't think it's a coincidence that, well, just because Pierce is out. I don't know what the deal is with Pierce. He just hasn't been good. So I don't think it'll plummet. I do agree that maybe we need to dial it back a notch. I agree with that. I don't know that Singletary necessarily will be a league winner, but I don't know if I'm worried about Pierce. I'll put it that way. All right, Arvin Angeles. Is Pitts worth picking up? We have Musgrave. How about Goddard? Well, I will say this. If you have Goddard, I mean, what has been the difference between Musgrave and Pitts this year, honestly? I might just wait for Goddard because, again, Goddard wasn't put on IR. He could come back in a couple of weeks. So I don't know that I would burn number 2 on Pitts. I mean, do you really want to do that to yourself and be playing Pitts every week and hope he does something just to see Jonnu Smith do something? Or, you know what I mean? I don't see it in the cards. So, like, I'm actually curious. What has been the difference between Pitts and Musgrave this year? Kyle Pitts is the – wait for it. This isn't full PPR. Kyle Pitts is the tight end 16 on the season, right behind Jonnu Smith of the Atlanta Falcons. That's right. Jonnu Smith has outscored Kyle Pitts in PPR this year. Luke Musgrave is the tight end 20. 16 to 20. You're talking about less than 10 fantasy points. Points per game, 8.2, 7.3. So what upgrade is Kyle Pitts getting you right now? He's not. Just wait for Goddard. Seth Denker will hurt to outscore Jake Elliott by 11 points. I sure hope so. I would think so. I don't really see Philly being a team that's going to get into a field goal kicking contest with Casey. So I would say, yeah. But you never know. All right, Arvin Angelis or Mayer. That is not a better tight end. Sorry. I like Mayer, but with this quarterback situation, nah. All right, Abimanu, what is up? 7-4. All right, good. Looking good. 10 team. You got okay, Hollywood, who I just ranted about. Jaden Reed is looking good. Rashid Shaheed is interesting with no MT. Rashid Rice or OBJ. Okay, I can do the running backs more easily. Bijan, Pacheco, White, and Swift. It's going to be Bijan, White, and Swift. I put Pacheco last year. Now, if you're talking about just one receiver here, OBJ is a strong pickup. Is he a strong start this week? Let's see. Ravens are going against the Chargers. That's pretty good. The Chiefs are going against the Raiders, which actually is not as good as you might think it is. Shaheed is too risky. I wouldn't put him out of this group. He's not going to get more targets necessarily. Maybe a couple, but still too risky. Now, Jaden Reed is the guy who's probably the most interesting here. So Packers are going, of course, on Thanksgiving against the Lions. Not a great spot, but the Lions have been getting up a lot more points lately on defense to the passing game. So it's between OBJ and Reed for me. Hollywood, I would just got to finish. I don't know what's going on with him. Just doesn't look right. I'm gonna wait until he does. So between Reed and OBJ, I can't believe I'm saying this. I might go OBJ for the ceiling. I think he just looks better. I'm not saying he looks like vintage OBJ or anything like that, but I'm gonna say I'll go OBJ. I think I would. The 10-team league, you want some more upside here. I don't know why these are your number 2 receivers. These seem more like number 3 types, but yeah, I think I would actually go OBJ. All right, Jackson Taylor. I can't get to every comment, by the way, so that's why we do have that super chat feature. Those definitely get answered. I will answer yours, though, because I think it's a good question. Is it worth trading for Singletary or Warren? Yes. I would rather trade for Warren. Also, should we send McBride and Hollywood for Thielen? No. I mean, you've seen Thielen is, even though he's still kind of the target hog there, his numbers have gone down since early in the season. I don't want to hitch my fantasy wagon to any Panther, anybody on a bad team here. I'd rather keep Hollywood and take a chance that he does bounce back. I mean, he should. He should be better than Thielen straight up. I don't know why he hasn't been, but I would not give up both McBride and Hollywood to get Thielen. No. All right, and then let's see. We got Chocolate Rain, 74. Actually wants to Olave you can keep Chase as flex. I mean, you can. I mean, Chase is not like you have to sit him. You can flex him out for sure. Or consider Nico. Ooh, okay. Well, sometimes you'll start Nico. I'm a little disappointed Nico didn't do better. Now, again, just coming back from injury, maybe he wasn't 100%. Cook, yeah. I mean, I guess I would just say Ayuk is pretty much in every week you're gonna start. Olave too. Don't see any reason not to start him. You can consider those guys depending on the matchup. Absolutely. You've seen Brian Robinson. You've seen how good he's been. You can definitely start him and always get some upside there. So I'll say, yeah, I think you got a smart plan. What you're doing makes sense. You're talking about this week, the Bengals get the Steelers. It's not terrible. I think Chase is still a guy you can flex. As far as Brian Robinson this week, let's see, Commanders, it's on Thursday. It's against the Cowboys. So that's not as good of a matchup, obviously. I might just stick with Chase. Nico, definitely not a bad spot for him. Man, you're going to have a tough decision this week. Is there any reason not to start Olave? No. I think I'd keep it the way it is. But yeah, depending on matchups, you might want to mix it up. All right, what's up, Clyde Allen? Non-PPR, got Field, Stroud, Murray, Bijan, Saquon, Ford, Swift, Ayuk, Waddle, Pittman, Hopkins, Garrett Wilson, McBride, Freiermuth. Any trade ideas? I'm going to say you're more than good at quarterback. You got 3 really good ones. So if you can trade, again, I'm assuming this is a single quarterback league. If it's 2 QB or super flex, keep all of those guys. If it's not, trade one of those guys. What do you need? Bijan, Saquon, Ford, Swift. You're good at running back. Ayuk, Waddle. Okay, yeah, you could use some help at receiver. I think that's the only spot. Trade one of those quarterbacks. Again, whoever your trade partner likes the best. It doesn't matter. These guys are all close. I guess I'd rather trade Murray, but any of those guys. And then a non-PPR. I'm going to hold on to Ayuk for sure. I would say trade one of those quarterbacks, and maybe you could try to trade away Hopkins coming off of that touchdown, or Garrett Wilson, who just doesn't score touchdowns. Maybe someone's excited about the quarterback change and try to upgrade to a better receiver, a stud receiver. Again, hard to say who is in your league willing to do this. It depends on who needs a quarterback. So look for the Burrow owner, look for somebody who's just not happy at quarterback, and try to do that. Now, if that just does not the case, nobody needs a quarterback, nobody wants one of your quarterbacks, whatever. Okay. In that case, you're pretty good. I don't think you have to make a move. There's really not much else you would need to do. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Look, I'm surprised sometimes, Brian, but Josh Downs, I looked at it, you saw the numbers there, 50%, half owned in a lot of leagues. So, all right. Let's see. Michael Donovan, start Javonte or Kyron this week? Well, let's wait and see on Kyron because, again, just because he can play doesn't mean he will play, as we saw with Justin Jefferson, some of these guys. And just because he plays doesn't mean he'll play a full workload. So right now, I'm just going to assume the worst. I'm just going to start Javonte, and then let's wait and hear what we, get reported on Kyron. Sean McVay, fortunately, is not a coach who tends to BS too much. He pretty much tells what's going to happen. He doesn't try to throw people off or do anything crazy. So let's wait and see on Kyron. I'd be a little leery about, throwing him in there right away unless I know he's going to get a full workload. Now, if he does and he's going to play in this, so that's it. He's resuming RB1 role as usual. Yeah, I'll start Kyron because he gets the Cardinals. It's a great spot. We know that McVay does use his running backs as workhorses typically if he has one he likes. So Right now, stick with Javonte, but if Kyron is a full go, and we know this because it's been confirmed, I'm going to start Kyron. Timothy Beauchamp. Trade Eckler and Chase for Monty and Diggs. Ooh, interesting. This is crazy because a couple of weeks ago, this would have been ridiculous, Eckler and Chase, but I'll say getting Diggs is smart. Eckler for Monty, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, you could also do Eckler and Allen. Ooh, for Monty, Diggs, and Lamar. No, I don't want to do that. I mean, I don't know who your quarterback is, but this one is close. This one is really tough because Diggs, I know, hasn't been doing anything the last couple of weeks, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. He's still a stud receiver. He'll be fine. I think I prefer him to Chase at this point. I would obviously prefer Eckler to Monty. So it's fair. I think it's doable. I think I'm okay with this. If you're really that worried about Chase, I hate to trade Eckler, but who can I get for Chase? Really depends. It really depends on your league, honestly. If you can get Diggs, I think that's great. So I think that first trade is fine. It's doable. Silver Surfer down 17 with Pacheco and Butker. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. I think you got a shot, a good shot. I think you got a good shot, but it is still going to come down to the wire. If you pull this out, it won't be by a huge margin. If you lose, it probably won't be by a huge margin either, annoyingly enough. 369 Ride, trade me my Josh Downs for Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I would still take Garrett Wilson with whatever quarterback. I like Josh Downs, but I would still take Garrett Wilson over him. And then Matthew Rice, what's up in the Tight End Premium Dynasty League? Okay, Puka for Kittle. Well, are you trying to win now? If so, take Kittle in the Tight End Premium. If you are playing for next year or you just have a youngish team, keep Puka. I mean, really only trade Puka to get Kittle if you're in it to win it and you have a chance to take home a championship this year. If not, keep Puka. Benny Black, Kyler or Fields rest of the season. I think after last night, I think I'm going to have to go Fields. I think I do. I mean, not just that he looked good connecting with DJ Moore again, but he ran the ball. He ran a lot. He's running more than Kyler. And Marquise Brown, I don't know what's up with him. Yeah, I think I'll prefer Fields. And then Howell or Fields. I think I'm going to go Fields. Look, I'm one of these people. I don't know why a lot of people are just not fans of Fields. People just seem like rooting for him to flop or just think he will. I don't know. I don't get the way some people think. I like Fields. I've always liked Fields. I don't care that he's not the most accurate passer. That's not his game. He doesn't have to be the most accurate passer in the league, just like Anthony Richardson isn't and never will be, but it doesn't matter. For fantasy football, Fields is a stud when he's healthy. So, yeah, I'm going to go Fields. Okay, let's make sure it doesn't skip around. Jonas Palumbo. In relation to Sal? I don't know. Brees or Taylor? Gotta be Taylor. I know Brees finally came up with a big play there, but man, he's been bad running the ball sometimes. Very inconsistent. This whole Jets offense, I don't even think inconsistent is the word. They've kind of been consistently bad, but it's definitely Taylor for me. So then Mario Gallegos wants to trade Barkley to get Taylor. I think I'd still prefer Taylor. We saw what Barkley can do, but I'm also going to warn you that was against the Washington defense, which, remember, just before the trade deadline, traded away their two best defensive linemen and wasn't that good before that. So I know Barkley went off because it was Washington. Remember what Barkley did the week before? Yeah. So more encouraged about Barkley for sure, but I'd rather have Taylor. That offensive line is just a lot better. All right, Janelle. Thank you, Janelle. Let me see where the question is. Go backwards first. I don't see a question from Janelle. Janelle, if you have a question, maybe it's way back and I just didn't see it. Let me look real quick. So Janelle, if you want to post your question again, at least if you didn't, then that would make it easier. Yeah, I don't see anything. All right, Janelle, you don't have to super chat again. Just do a regular chat. Just put whatever your question is there, and we'll put it up. While we wait for that, it's the perfect time for me to remind you guys we got a little bit of time before the Monday night games. Try to get your reactions, but also let me remind you that you can sign up for Underdog, and that gets you the new customer special. Pat Mahomes just needs a yard tonight. You can still take advantage of that. Got about 15 minutes to do that. But also, if you sign up for Underdog, you get that 100% deposit match up to $100. We're going to do that draft again. Congrats once again to Boomer. Shout out for winning the Week 11 contest, Python, finishing top 3. And then we'll see who wins it this week. We'll do it again. We'll see. Have to figure out when we fit this in, though, because you guys may not know this. Just to keep you aware, it's Thanksgiving this week. Yeah. So Thursday, we're not going to do a show for obvious reasons. Friday, we'll probably do a regular, like start-sit show to take the place of our Thursday show. I don't know if we'll squeeze in a draft right afterwards, or I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But Thursday is going to be an off day, so we'll figure out when we draft. But I think I want to do it again for sure. It's fun. It's fun. It's drafting. That's the best part. I mean, I don't know who disagrees with that. I don't think anyone's like, nah, I don't like drafting part. I really like the starting, setting my lineup and trying to figure out who's going to score this week. No, I think it's the drafting that's the fun part. You get to pick who you think is going to go off. So anyways, check that out. Underdog, the drafts they have tournaments, and of course the pick'ems there. So if you're new and you just sign up, take the higher, Pat Mahomes, combine with another pick, you can triple your money. That's right. Boomer did win. Ryan, you need to join us. Okay. Skibbity. Cedarius Lamb for Tyreek. I still take Tyreek. I'm taking Tyreek. I know Lamb has been amazing. Tyreek has been amazing. Tyreek's been slightly more amazing for slightly longer. I think I've got to take Tyreek. I'm not sure who's trading away Tyreek for anything other than a 2-for-1 or something like that. Oh, you're saying it's not available in your state. Okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I know it's not available everywhere. It really should be, but can't do much about that. All right. What's up, Kyle, again? Would you consider rolling with Russell Wilson instead of trading Swift for both Murray and Gus? Do I want Russell Wilson as my quarterback rest of the season? Not really. You've seen it. I mean, you see really not even a bad matchup. Minnesota's defense has been okay. I think Denver made it look better than it is. That was at home. I mean, just the upside isn't there. I hate to trade Swift. Like, I hate to trade for a quarterback, but I just don't see Russell Wilson being the starting quarterback for a championship team. So I think I'd rather take a chance here and go for Murray. And you get Gus, who's been solid. You can start Stevenson. I think Stevenson is going to be good this week. I think he'll be better down the stretch. The Patriots kind of have no choice but to just try to win with the ground game because they cannot pass it. So I really think Stevenson should at least be like an RB2 type. So yeah, I think this is okay. I know I hate to do this, but that's probably worth it. Okay, Timothy, you're saying it was Josh Allen, not Keenan. Okay, so those little clarifications make a big difference. So let's see. Let me go back to yours. Timothy. I know it's easy because, like, in your mind, like, you know which Allen you're talking about, but I don't always know. Push the rewind button. Let's see how far back we go. It must have been a while back here. I'm not seeing it. So I'll tell you what might be easier here again too. If you just want to put what your question was, the trade offer that you had here. I think I would much rather trade away Josh Allen than Keenan Allen. So I'd say maybe it's more of a doable thing for you. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. All right, yeah, Timothy, unless it pops up right here right now. I don't know why it's not showing up. Yeah, just let me know what the deal is again. Oh, wait. Now I found it. Okay, so could do Eckler and Josh Allen. Oh, okay. Eckler and Josh Allen for Monty, Diggs, and Lamar. That makes more sense why you would be trading for a quarterback like Lamar. I would do that. Actually, now I would say I prefer the second deal because Lamar and Allen, I don't think are a big difference. So you're basically giving up just Eckler to get Monty and Diggs. Yeah, I think I like that one better, actually, now that I look at it. Yeah, I'm not like completely out on Josh Allen, but yeah, I think I would do that because you're getting an edge here. All right, there's Janelle. 12-team PPR injuries. I know, crying emoji appropriate. Achane. Well, okay, injured guy, injured guy, injured guy, injured guy. You have 4 injured running backs all in the same week. All right, Gus and Ty Chandler. At least they're startable. Injured guy. No, Chase isn't injured. Just his quarterback's injured. All right, yeah, and you have 2 receivers whose quarterbacks are out for the season. That's impressive. All right, so 2 running backs, 2 receivers in the flex. Well, you really don't have much of a choice, do you? I think you're going to have to go with Gus and Chandler. I mean, maybe if Achane is going to play, you can take a chance on him, but I don't know if you want to do that. Yeah, receiver, if Jettis plays, which he, I think, has to, you'll play him. I definitely want to play Evans, and I'm going to go Olave at the flex. So Jettis, Evans, Olave. In this case, I actually think Chase might be the odd man out unless we hear that Jettis is going to be limited. Like, he might play, but it doesn't mean he'll play full, set of snaps. So in that case, you could just pivot to Chase. Disaster. Okay, Rice Pacheco, full PPR. I'll give the edge to Rice. Don't know if you're winning or losing, but either way, full PPR. I still think I'm just going to go Rice because I feel like his upside is greater. This is a game where we should see a lot of passing. I think Rice is solid. Eagles, Rice is a guy who's much better against zone coverage. Eagles don't really lean heavily one way or the other as far as man or zone. I think he'll be fine. Don't expect a huge Rice game. Don't expect him to do nothing either. He'll be fine. Somebody asked me projected points. I think I said 11. So I would still go Rice. All right, Clyde Allen with another super chat here. The Burrow owner has Smith as his backup QB. That's not too great. And has Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp. How about offering Stroud and Ayuk for Tyreek Hill? Do it. If you can get Hill, look, Ayuk has been really good. I mean, you're not at all trying to take advantage of him. You're actually helping him out. This, to me, looks like a win-win because he's getting a really good quarterback upgrade over Geno Smith for sure. And he's still getting a good receiver. I mean, obviously, Tyreek Hill, better. And I like that you're going for Hill instead of Kupp. It's too risky to do that to get Kupp. No, I wouldn't do that. But if you're getting Hill, obviously you can afford to give up Stroud. He's your backup. Hill is an upgrade. Yeah, I think this is a great deal because this actually should be a win for both teams. So that's really smart. What is up, Phil? Sadly, no touchdown for Rico, but maybe next week. All right, possible trade for Diggs. Would you send Hall, Achane, Gibbs, or Eckler? Not Eckler. But I would send any of those other guys. If you can do 1-for-1 for any of those other guys, I'm doing it. But not Eckler. My receivers are Debo and Lamb. Okay. Package an RB and a receiver. Okay, so you could do a 2-for-2. That team has Stevenson. But look, you have, well, I mean, you have Eckler, Gibbs, Hall. You're good at running back. You really don't need Stevenson. What I would like to do if I'm your team, well, you say your receivers are Debo and Lamb. Like if you do a 2 for 2, I don't know who else you have at receiver. Like if you did, okay, if you did Achan and Debo for Diggs, Achan and Debo for Diggs and something, I think I'd still, for your team, rather have that and one be a receiver, unless you have a really deep receiver bench, which I can't tell from here. But you know what I mean? Because you still have 3 good running backs. So I would do that. I would obviously try to trade Achan out of those guys. And I would trade Debo. I think that's fine. You don't have a wide receiver 3. You probably need a wide receiver 3. So I would do that. Debo and Achan for Diggs and a receiver. Or you could go Debo and Hall for Diggs and a receiver. You need a receiver 3. Yeah. All right, guys. Last chance here before we wrap it up, because the game's going to start, and you want to watch the game. Any last second start sit for Monday night, or any last second hopes and prayers we have for pulling out a W tonight? Don't forget, we will be live tomorrow, the Waiver Wire Show, and help you out. Set those Turkey week lineups nice and early. So let us know what else you got. Alejandro Diaz, should I trade Dak and Kamara for CD Brown or Kelsey? Okay, so he wants Dak. All right, so if he's desperate for a quarterback and you're giving him Dak and a running back like Kamara, for Kelsey alone, I don't think it's enough. For CD, I think that is fair. For Brown, I think that's fair. Yeah, sure. Look, I mean, I'm assuming that Dak's your backup quarterback. So I would do that. I mean, again, don't know your whole roster and your situation, but look, if you can do this, I think I would take CD or Brown for that. I think that's good. Right, there's 3 Thursday games this week. It's Thanksgiving Day. Let me take that off. He's asking. So there are 3 games on Thursday. Packers Lions early in the morning. Commanders Cowboys afternoon. And then 49ers Seahawks, the West Coast game, is at night. And then on Friday, for some reason, this is the first time they're doing a Black Friday game, the Dolphins and the Jets. So I'm glad I'm off. I'm going to be home and actually watch the Dolphins play. All right, guys. I think that'll do it. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you tomorrow. Chris will be back, and we'll help you out with your waiver, start sit, and everything else you got. So don't forget, check out the videos. You already got the panic and waiver wire out there, and start sit is coming tomorrow. Everything else as well. One last thing. Let's see, Phil, the wife question. She went with Dak and Stroud. Yeah, it was close. Well, I hope she got the win. I hope everybody here got the win. Hope everyone does pull out the win tonight. So good luck for the rest of week 11, and we'll see you tomorrow.